Hello, everyone. This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. I have been involved with quality for over 40 plus years, involved with aerospace, medical implants, materials printing, and plastic distribution, where we dealt with every industry under the sun. We're going to be open for 13 years, assisting companies in manufacturing quality and also ISO certification, all derivatives from implementation to certification. This is today very important. It's about Boeing declines $200 million ransom demand for stolen data. Quality expert Daryl Guberman explains. I'm going to explain in brief how this all gets together, how it homogenizes, because it's not a ransom they're getting. They are just giving data away. They got hacked many times by China. As a matter of fact, we have that data. We don't make this up. But in 2024, on April 17th, I was at the Senate subcommittee meeting, basically quantifying what Sam Salipar is, his allegations concerning the 777, 787. And we will show you with documentation how his allegations are true. Without a doubt, they're very, very true since 2009 when Boeing was made an FAA regulator. If Boeing's an FAA regulator, they didn't have to tell the FAA anything about the MCAS system that was in the Ethiopian and also Indonesian airline. They didn't have to tell them a thing. Also about aircraft design, you'll see and hear that they didn't have to tell them about aircraft design either. And we're going to continue. You have ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental corporation that's been around for over 100 years that has federal agencies and corporations on board. In 2015, Randy Doherty, then the Vice President of ANAB, Chairman and Principal on the International Accreditation Forum, which is a repository for both national and international accreditation bodies, handed over leadership to this guy, Communist Chinese national Zhao Jinwu, who's been involved with our quality since 1994. And he is also, at the time, the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services, which certified the laboratory that released the virus in Wuhan, China. We have all that data. You can find it down below. He is mandated by the country of origin, Communist China, to take our data through the China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7. You have, of course, ANSI and ANAB. I told you about them taking over. ANSI took over complete control over ANAB, and you have federal agencies and corporations on board. How our government and how other governments take the business. We just heard that President Biden put sanctions on Iran, China, and also Russia. But through APAC, which sits on the IAF incorporated in Delaware, you have these countries. APAC is the Asian Pacific Accreditation Cooperation, and they go around sanctions. Don't let anybody kid you. You have ANSI and ANAB that sit on each other's board. You have the factor between 2015 and 21. ANSI and ANAB both sat on the IF, being controlled and manipulated by Communist China, while they had both federal agencies and corporations on that board. Isn't that tender? In China, you have over 10 different registrars that can issue an ANSI-ANAB accreditation, and you also have Randy Doherty. Back when he was the Vice President of ANAB, Chairman and Principal in the IF tax report, he is explaining to you that example, the China National Accreditation Services, okay, because they are an IF MLA or MRA, which is a multilateral agreement, or MRA, which is a multi-regional agreement organization, that ANSI-ANAB they're equivalent. China National Accreditation Service is equivalent to accreditation as ANSI-ANAB are. And they take all responsibility because you know why? They are an underwriter. This federal contract, we have many, that illustrate to you that ANSI-ANAB are underwriters for the International Accreditation Forum. Worst thing is this was 2018. So basically, our government invited Communist China into its halls, without a doubt. And here you have ANSI-ANAB are underwriters for the International Accreditation Forum. IAF and ILAC are sister organizations. ILAC is the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation out of Australia. IAF and ILAC are sister organizations. And on top of it, ANSI is the founder. ANSI-ANAB is the founder of the International Accreditation Forum. Now we go on to Boeing. Here it is, Boeing. Boeing in 2002 in April gave up special process certification to Professional Review Institute, Performance Review Institute, that they can go out and do the heat treatment. Here's your certificate, send it into Boeing, we're good to go. Here's your special processes as far as cadmium plate, etc., welding. Here you go, Boeing. Here's another certificate. Take it. So basically, they were taking a NADCAP cert as verification of the company's quality. Isn't that a tender moment? Now, that was in April. In July, Boeing put out a supplier bulletin. I'm not going to go into it. It just says this. On-site Boeing survey/audit of suppliers' quality system if need be. Our preference is to deal with proven suppliers with excellent quality performance and not have to do on-site quality system audits. Which means this, in basic. You take your AS9100 certificate, accredited only by ANAB, because Boeing sits on ANAB's board. You'll see it. They call it on the porthole, and they call it on the bulletin. You will see it. Just send in your cert, send in your parts, and we don't have to come to your facility for 22 years thus far. In 2009, Boeing was made an FAA regulator by the FAA, of course. And it basically states Boeing's commercial airlines division to self-certify its own aircraft. What does self-certify mean, business people? The system allows Boeing employees to perform tasks on behalf of the FAA that include oversight of testing and product standards, along with certification of aircraft technologies. That's MCAS, remember, Indonesian Air and Ethiopian Air, with certification of aircraft technologies, and here's Sam Sallybar, and new aircraft designs. And you have this, and then it goes over fully, and it says FAA appointed in-house company inspectors who report most of their findings to the FAA through Boeing. So they're reporting most of their findings. Why not all? That's kind of a little bit shaky thing. You have Boeing that sits on ANSI's board, right over by the FAA, who granted them regulatory authority. So how can one regulator watch over another regulator? And they're trying to do that. They're trying to skirt the issue. That's the way the FAA is. Then you have Boeing sitting over by 7 registrars, all accredited by ANAB because they are sitting over by ANAB. And you have these registration companies. And there's no oversight. And then you have Boeing sitting on the board of ANAB, ANSI-ANAB, that can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification. You find anything wrong with that? And here we go. This is on their supplier portal. Must be ANSI-ANAB or international equivalent, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine that? So they bypass all of this mess. They control it all, and you can see with their quality how bad it is. And then you have the watchdog, the Department of Justice. And here they are. They're sitting over by Boeing on ANSI. You have the U.S. Department of Transportation also sitting over by Boeing. And you have, of course, this is the most embarrassing one. One of them is FBI, where you have Christopher Wray, who during Senate subcommittee meetings are asked about China. We must maintain vigilance, he says, the FBI director, while he was watched over and controlled by communist China between 2015 and 21. Unbelievable. He doesn't know? Who knows? And then you have the Department of Defense, where between 2012 and 13, President Obama's Pentagon signed a waiver so that China could build F-35 special magnets for the crew doors, I think it was. Unbelievable. Yes, we do have that article. So if you need it, 203-556-1493 or Daryl, D-A-R-Y-L, TQRS at yahoo.com. I've been involved with quality for 40 years, been in business now going on 13. You talk to these guys who are AS9100 certified under the ANAB logo, and they will say, well, Daryl, it's okay. We don't know what it does, but we need that certificate to pay to play. Pay to play. That's what we need. Pay to play. And that's what we hear throughout our term and throughout our business all the time. We have to do pay to play. Well, pay to play isn't working. As you can see, all these failures at Boeing. As you can see, the failures at Lockheed Martin. As you can see, the failures with Pfizer having recalls, skipping quality processes and standards to push the COVID vaccine out. You also have failures at Johnson & Johnson, another contamination, quality issues, and they all sit on ANSI's board. Do you see what this is, business owners? Do you see it? Hold on. Do you wake up over there? And I'll never forget what Thomas Paine said when speaking the truth at as many times like administering medication to the dead. I look forward to hearing from you.